Army Secretary blames right-wing anti-woke rhetoric for military's recruiting woes. Translation, it's not that we're doing the something wrong. That's not the problem. The problem is these other people who keep saying that we're doing something wrong. They keep talking about it. If only we could get these people to stop talking about the thing we're doing wrong, we wouldn't be having this problem. And being anti-woke is a very centrist position to have. I love how they call it right-wing. So, but although I guess to the far left, everything looks far right, doesn't it? Anything to the right of the far left is far right, including moderate left. Now, the Army and the U.S. military in general is in the middle of one of the worst recruiting crises of all time, but our current Army Secretary thinks she knows the problem, the anti-woke rhetoric of conservatives. Yeah, it's totally not the fact that they're actively driving away masculine men. That's okay. I'm sure Milady is going to step up. So Army Secretary Christine Wormuth thinks the right-wing rhetoric critical of the military is making our military weaker. No, it's not the military's bad policies making them weaker. It's the people talking about those bad policies that are making it weaker. Yeah. Now, the Army's top civilian leadership pushed back amid Republican criticisms that the military is going too woke, arguing such critiques are deepening an already troubling recruiting crisis. Well, guess what? Why don't you walk back the wokeness then? Maybe you wouldn't have that recruiting crisis. So let's see. The Air Force is saluting the rainbow flag and the Space Force is discriminating against red states that won't want to castrate kids. And then we have Mark Milley and Lloyd Austin lecturing us about white rage and racism. But the lack of recruiting, well, that's the fault of those right-wing extremists. There's no one else it can be, right? It's totally not the fact that masculine men see what the military has become and they're like, nah, I'm not going to be a part of that organization. Or better yet, like they see our country as a whole, like just bowing to the pride flag, and the pride flag taking prominence in on the White House. You know, Brandon showing where his loyalty really lies, as I refer to it as. All these military bases are hosting family-friendly drag shows, and these guys are like, this isn't really worth dying for. It can't be that, though. Like, no, there's no way. It can't be that guys are realizing that this country isn't worth dying for. No, it's not that. It's got to be that right-wingers are pointing it out. That's the problem. I think one of the things that we see that's contributing to the decline in trust in the military is a concern on both sides of the aisle about politicization of our military leaders. I think the more our military leaders are sort of dragged into spaces that have been politicized like that, the more it contributes to the perception that they're political when they really aren't. You're really going to say they aren't when, as listed above, you had Mark Milley and Lloyd Austin lecturing us about white rage and racism? Yeah, fuck off. So once again, if you guys would stop pointing out the problem, we could go back to pretending the problem doesn't exist. That's the whole point they're making. So I hope we don't see more of this kind of talk that's been out in the past few days. So the Army's brand is now wokeness, and you want to blame someone else for making it political? Yeah, they chose to do it. I still remember that's the two moms ad for the Army, and then comparing that to the Russian and Chinese alternatives. Yeah, the U.S. military made themselves into a laughingstock. So the entire military is shoving their rainbow crap in our faces, and now they're upset young men and women don't want to serve. Yeah, the most political thing you can do is focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion. You don't get to pretend you're neutral while pushing that neo-Marxist messaging inside the military. Oh, you guys know what I'm about to say, right? They're going to resort to their usual defense now. Ew, but not the B. There's nothing political about just being a decent person. Guarantee you that's going to be their defense. It's like, no, we're not being political when we're pushing far left ideology. We're just being a decent, caring person. It's just being anti-racist, guys. How is it political to be against racism? Are you for racism? It's a wonder why we haven't been attacked yet. No, it's actually the reason we haven't been attacked yet is pretty obvious. Because despite what a laughingstock our military is now, We still got a lot of technology and firepower to bring to bear. And there's still a few decent soldiers left. They haven't chased them all out yet. Give it a few years, though. And what I'm trying to do is talk about now how that drip criticism about a woke military, I do think it's having some kind of productive efforts on recruiting, Wormuth said. How about just not being woke? If you just stop being woke, maybe you wouldn't be having that problem. So well, here's an idea. If you want us to stop, to shut up about the military going woke, stop being woke. What a concept. Yeah, maybe the problem isn't us talking about it. Maybe it's you doing it. Maybe if you stop doing it, we'll stop talking about it. Have you considered that? Yeah, we're getting into real big brain territory here. Amelia and Austin and probably a dozen other top generals captured by this ideology need to resign. They need to fire anyone with DEI in their job title. They need to stop recruiting using rainbow flags and diversity as the selling points. But until that happens, don't expect us to shut up while the army is being destroyed from the inside out. Yeah, at this point, it's like we're just waiting for someone to take over.